day 19 or day 17, depending on your opinion. Um, I the last video I put up was day 16, but I've had 2 days where, let's say, I've been elsewhere, but still in front of the computer in the land of Minecraftia for most of the time. I know, idiotic. I learned my well, it happens every now and again, so I learned. Anyway, so I'm not sure whether to call it 16 or 19, but I'm going to go with 19 because that's chronologically accurate. Okay, so day 16 was a bit of a farce, but I felt I've come back to the project tonight, and I've had to think about whether I maybe called that a bit early, saying that you couldn't do drums and bass or whatever. I think I just stuffed up. Like, I got some interesting percussion right at the end, some African rhythms, and that was pretty cool. Like, it was pretty interesting at the end there, but I was kind of very stagnant with the synth. But what I realized is I just didn't automate anything. So I'm gonna give you an example of just, it's like just a second worth of like fooling around suddenly makes things move again, and you can move on, whereas I haven't done that. So I really need to be conscious of actually doing things that push it forward instead of stagnating. So I mean, we can sit here and listen to this, like we did for, let's say, 2 or 3 minutes in day 16's finished video, but then I can spend just 2 minutes just adjusting, just firing up an EQ, right, and strafing it. Now what's going to happen here is the EQ is going to turn on, it's going to move the frequency. It's let's call it a low shelf, a low shelf, and it's just going to move the frequency up and down. They're going to hear the difference in the sound. They're going to go, okay, well, that's just a little bit more interesting than the shit that I put out on day 16. And that only took 2 minutes. Okay, now the cool thing about Cubase 6 is I can do stuff like this, so I can just scale the peaks, so I can make it more. You see the peaks, it's just going further. Anyway, point being that not doing stuff like that is really kind of slowing me down because I'm not really moving forward. Okay, so gonna have a fool around, gonna stick to my guns a little bit and try and automate a bit more, because I am so very naughty with not automating. It's because of the complexity of automating. Like, okay, we've got our drums up here, right? Our samples, and then we've got what is being played here, and then down here we've got this bunch of the parameters that I'm automating, and it just gets so messy so quickly, and it doesn't matter what host you use, it gets messy. Like, a lot of people use Ableton Live, and it is better for this, but Ableton Live sits on one monitor and gets super messy. Like, it's just, there's no way to get around this. Like, there's no, it's frustrating for me because I can't stand just having shit everywhere, which is what happens with automated synths and whatnot. And I mean, this is an extreme case because look at that, that's 31 synths running at the same time, or running, ready to roll. That means that it's just so complex. But either, it doesn't matter. I mean, even if you've got 4 or 5 synths, just shit goes everywhere with Cubase or any of these hosts. But some people deal with it better, but I don't, because I don't know, I just can't handle a mess, so I don't use it. Yeah, it's an interesting little frustration for me. I just have to suck it up though, because yeah, I mean, just 2 seconds there made that far more interesting. I can just, I mean, you can, okay, let's turn it on a bit earlier. I mean, I could just do something like that, and you get a nice rising, interesting sound. There's a point where it's no longer useful, but yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Let's see what I can do with that proviso. So staying with my samples, and just basically working from a limited use of a limited number of synths. Other thing that I find myself often doing is whenever I'm looking for a new piece of something new to inject into the I'm still pretty close to coughing. Whenever I'm or crying, either way. Whenever I'm adding new stuff, right? One of the things that I do is I always produce something that's just so ridiculously all-encompassing for the mix. So I can't just, like have a little stab, like, a little stab from a synth. I've got to like take the entire mix up with something like that. I don't know. Anyway, that's, yeah. And a lot of music I listen to, that's not the way it works, because synths are so they're so one-dimensional compared to a guitar or whatever. I mean, they're not one-dimensional, but compared to a guitar, that you have to use different sounds and stab them in and separate. So you might take these notes and put them into and have them play with another synth, and this might be something like a bass synth or whatever. So yeah, just another thing that I often do, just fill the mix and then get stuck. Anyway, 7 minutes of me bullshitting, but yeah, 2 very good points for myself anyway. Considering this is self-indulgent, I think I can allow myself the time. Right, back pretty quickly. I just realised when I recorded the first video that I actually had the fan on. So you might hear it's because this condenser, it's hanging above me, which is really stupid actually, because I'm having to wear lots of clothes because I'm cold, but yet I've got the fan on me. Anyway, so the reason I'm back so quickly is because posing a question to myself, which I'm then going to update the results with, hopefully something pretty soon. How do I bring this synth here? You can see that I brought all the automation controls a bit closer to where it is. How do I bring that forward? Because right now it's getting swallowed by these batteries, the samples. What I think is, and I'm speaking really quickly because don't want to yap on for too long. I think that all these batteries here are too loud. They're too loud, which means I can't bring the gain up on this. I can't compress this and then bring it up and have any effect. So I think what I need to do is go back to here and correctly mix these, because I think what's happening is basically I've probably got these clipping or thereabouts. Anyway, yep. Okay, it is the end of the night, and once again I'm let's say 90% disappointed with my output, particularly having to put it out, export it, and put it on a YouTube video, which sucks because this is it's just so insubstantial what I've done. But nevertheless, what I have done right is I did mix the synth sound a bit better, so it sort of sits in the mix a bit better, and a few things sound a bit better. I don't think the mixing is great or anything, but it sounds okay. But the problem is I'm not feeling this track, and until I feel it, I'm just so blind or deaf to what to do next. Like, I'm just sitting there, just basically just putting little stabs in or trying little melodies or whatever. Yeah, it's so difficult when you just don't have the vibe of the track, and I don't have it, and I don't like having to export it. This this piss poor effort and put it up on a YouTube video, but I said I would, so I have to. But I just don't think my approach here is correct. Like, I don't want to be too discouraged by this because I've largely just attempted to make something whilst this is playing, and I don't know whether that's good. It's just, I don't think it's I mean, it's not a bad sound or anything, just don't think it works for me in me finding my groove here. Okay, but I'll play a tiny bit. Yeah, I don't know, I'm pretty clueless here. I don't think it yeah, it's a little bit too much talk about process and a little bit too little just going for it, because really I went for it in the first track, and at least I got basically the element of a tune. It just wasn't very mixed very well, and it needed to be worked upon. Anyway, so here is just a tiny bit of it, because quite frankly I can't stand to hear any more of it than I have here now. So yeah. And that's all I'm going to play. Fairly crap. Just, yeah, I mean, even if that does sound good to someone, I don't feel it, so it's difficult for me to elaborate on that particular piece. So yeah, gonna let it sink in for 24 hours, well, less than 24 hours, and then turn back up and try again.